Hey guys, nice to be hanging out again. I figured I would make this video. In the beginning I want to address something that somebody mentioned, which is a good thing. I was going to actually mention it, but I forgot. And the question is why did I mask this the way I did with the folding the tape? And I'll show you a couple different things that you can do if you want to mask. Literally you could just blow overspray onto here and then just sand it off, or some materials you could actually get away with just feather sanding it. But the clear coat, but you could get some wavy stuff because the clear coat's a little thick and it's harder. It doesn't sand as good, the same as the primer, so you end up with, it's kind of hard to sand off. So I elected to not deal with that, and I went with this. And what this does is this gives you less of a hard edge. I'll give you the three options of ways you can mask it real quick. This tape is a household masking tape that actually works okay for automotive type stuff too, even though it's not designed for it. But you could just hard mask the edge. Now what the problem with that is you end up with a pretty heavy edge with the clear and base on here, and so what will happen is you'll have a heavy buildup right there, and that buildup will be a little hard to sand off. So I don't usually do that. I don't like hard masked edge like that. The other thing people do, and they think for some reason that this is the same thing. I've had people tell me, oh, it's the same thing, it does exactly the same. It does not. They'll do this. They'll fold it back. That's called back masking. Okay, and that works. Okay. So I've even done spot repairs where people will do a spot repair and they'll back mask it like this. And what happens is you end up with a dry edge. So let's say I was doing this. I was back masking on the top of this fender, and I wanted to do a color blend, and I wanted to blend into it. So they would back mask right here at this, and I was spot painting over here. I was going to try and blend up and whatever right here. They back mask it. Okay, and what happens, you always end up with a little dry edge here. So I don't normally do that. So instead, what I'll do is I'll have to set this up real quick. So what I'll do is I'll take my tape and fold it over. 3M actually came out with a product that does exactly this. And now when I was doing a paint blend on the Mustang a while back. This was a couple of years back when I did the Mustang. I just put that video up recently because I just thought, well, it'd be kind of nice to see a start to finish on it. So they used to, the 3M, I don't know if they still do, but they made a product like this, and it was sticky in the middle and both ends were folded like this. And they started it because one of the guys that I used to work for actually sold his idea many years ago to 3M. So, but what you do is if you fold it like this, and you kind of just flip it up just a little bit, you can actually paint up to that edge, and there's not a hard edge there, and it will be shiny right up to the very edge. In fact, sometimes you can just peel this off when you're done. You did a color blend up to here or whatever, you finished out your blend. I don't recommend like putting clear right up to this edge. You might bridge onto that tape a little bit, but if you did your blend up to this, it'll come out really clean. It'll come out better than if you just folded it back. Some guys, like I said, they'll just fold this back and then do that. Sometimes that's easier. It depends. Like with some of the color of the plastic and stuff like that, now you can just put your tape down, put plastic over here, and then cut it out, and then just fold this back and then put the plastic on top. So it depends on what you want to do. But what I'm saying is, this is a very good way to, like, if you want to, like when I can do the jams, when I do the jams inside, I don't know if I'll do it on this car. I'm probably not going to. But like if I'm doing a real custom job and I want to get the jambs to come out really clean, and I don't want to see the sprayed edge, I will mask it like this. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll mask it like that. Okay, right up to the very edge. And it'll be such a small amount of, there'll be such a, it won't be a heavy buildup or anything, like as if you masked it. If you just mask it like this, which I'm probably going to do that on this car. I don't really care. I'm not going to go crazy on it at all. But if you mask it like this, what happens is you kind of get a dry edge along here, and it looks like crap, you know. It doesn't look that great. Looks all right. Well, with the old spray guns, it was really bad. Because you had high pressure, and the pressure would just really dry spot really bad. With the HVLP or HE guns with the lower pressure, 29 pounds or whatever. I mean, we used to use 60 pounds to paint, and it would just really dry spot in here. And with these ones, it's not near as bad, but you still end up with a dry spot in here. But if you fold your tape and you put it on the other way, like I was showing you here, for example, right here, there's better places where it's more visible. Maybe on the door jambs, if you masked it like this, you end up with very little. You almost can't see it. You have to really get your eyes way up close. You don't end up with a hard edge, nothing. It's just kind of a little tiny bit of blow underneath, and it evens out. I just don't know why, but it does work. So anyway, that's what I elected to do around this edge, so that I can easily sand this off. I can just run through. I'll just sand that right off in minutes, and it would save you some time. Now, I did kind of get a sloppy over here. It's a little heavy, but it's just one little spot. But most of it, I can't even hardly feel that. There's very little. It's very well blended. So, anyway. Gonna move on to get to paint now. So anyway, we will do some sanding, and then this video might, you guys think, sometimes you watch my videos and you think, hey, wow, he did that in like 2 days. Sometimes it was over a week or 2 weeks. I tell people, watch how many times I change my shirt or my shorts or whatever, and you'll notice that it might have been 6 or 7 times. That means I was working on the car 6 or 7 days. Maybe an hour or 2 at a time, but that's the way it usually goes. So anyway, that's what we're going to do now. We're going to get this car to paint. I do have to finish the oval first. I have some stuff I have to finish on the oval. I got to get epoxy primer on some stuff, because it's going to have to get moved outside while I'm doing the final sanding on this. I final sand it. It's got to stay inside after it's final sanded and till it's painted. So once it's final sanded, I got to move it inside. I got to keep it from getting any moisture or anything on it, because that'll create fish eyes, all kinds of problems. When you do final sand, you got to keep it inside, and usually don't final sand and wait like 2 weeks or something. That's solvent. You can use the pre-clean or whatever and solvent wash it and whatever. I don't have very good luck with that. I end up with issues. So I sand it and then paint it. My final sand, I want to make sure I sand it right away and paint it right away, right after. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out. We're going to see. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys a bit later in the video. Alright, so I just did a little test sand here. Camera's a little low on battery right now, so I got to let it charge up. So I didn't really want to film this part. Plus I want to kind of show you guys a couple things. So I used 320 on this, and it's because I'm not sure how thick this primer I put on here is. So I'm a final sand, and I did the first one kind of quick with 150. So I want to kind of do it a little bit slower. So when I'm running, I'm using this sander here, the big heavy one, but it really, you can control the sander because you get 2 hands on it really good. That's why I like it. The old DAs, I used to like the ones with the long handle. I still have one like that. So like if you're deciding to try and block sand with a DA, it's best to have one that's not a palm DA, where it's just a palm. You need one with a handle, so you can get two hands on it, hold it really steady, and do the same thing you do with the long board or anything else. You just don't push on it. You just run the sander the direction you want everything to be. So when I'm block sanding with a DA, I block sand the same way I do with any other block. I'm making the shape the way I want it to be, and just letting the DA just do the work. So it cuts it off the way I want it to cut off, and it comes out pretty straight. So same thing as if let's say you do all your block sanding by hand with blocks, and then you go do your final sand with the DA. People go, oh, well, you can't get it straight with the DA. Well, you just did your final sand with the DA, and if you didn't do that evenly and smooth, you'd have rough edges and you'd have it all wavy and everything else. So you can do it with a DA. It just takes a little more practice, time. I've done it many times. Everything you see that I've done, including the Mustang, if you guys want to go back a couple videos, haven't watched that, you can look at that Mustang. It is dark green, almost black, and there is no waves in it. And I did everything with the DA, did one final sand. So I'll leave all this stuff here. I'm going to do that by hand. You can't do those with a DA. You have to do the edges, corners, down in this groove. That's all got to be done by hand. So I'm going to do all the flat areas with the DA. They'll look like this. Then I'll go through and I'll use my 3-in-1. And then I'll just give it a little. This is Medallion. And this isn't the best product for this. It's best if you get your good stuff out. And I'll give this a final. The rest I'll do by hand. So I go over everything with a DA. It's better if you do it with a real good urethane primer, but I'm just showing you an example with this stuff. I'll probably just do this one with this. Do that a couple K. This is a 1K product. It's kind of a lacquer, old schoolish type stuff, and it works. It just, it's not the best stuff for doing that touch-up stuff. But if you go through and do all your touch-up with whatever you use, then you go back and do your final hand sand. I'll do all these edges really good, and then I'll just scuff over those real quick to make sure that they're scuffed down. I'm not going to sit there and block them at all. I'm just going to go over them real quick, and I'm done. So ready for paint. So that's the process. I'm just telling you how it works, and now we're going to get on it. Alright, so now I gotta go through, sand all this little stuff here. All the edges, really good. And then the rest of it I just kind of run over it real quick. And this is a flexible block. It's 3M. They have them at O'Reilly Auto Parts if you wonder where to get it. They're pretty good. That's all I use. I don't use any of those block sets or anything like that, really. Dyna blocks and all that. I don't use any of that stuff. I use stick-it paper, one of these sponge guys, and that's about it. And this I'm going to do with 220 because it's a little faster. Get a little bit of sanding scratch from it, but this base coat really fills in good. So it'll fill that scratch no problem. Because I'm using it's a single stage urethane stick stuff. And it's single stage urethane satin is what it is. It's by Matthews Paint, which is a PPG sign industry paint. Designed to be outside all the time, just like car paint does. It's just not quite the same. Car paint's a little finer, it's a little nicer. But hey, the price is right. Let's keep going. I didn't really want to film all this, so I was using some old tape that I just wanted to burn up, so it was kind of slow. So I'm showing you, I cover everything. I'm not going to worry about up there where the wires go. If there's a little bit of overspray on stuff, I don't really care. Up in there, it's going to get all covered with wires and whatever. But I always cover like this. If you're doing an old car, you know, if you're doing new ones, you always use Visqueen. That's the way it's done now. It's just the new. And a little trick for that is this stuff here is the No Flake house painters tape stuff. I'll show you the label. See if we can get it out of here. It's right here. Hand Masker Plus. This stuff actually works just like the automotive stuff. a quarter the price. Probably the best way to do the jams is to fold the tape. It's not holding in tight on this one because of the thing. So it's going to get a little bit of blow through here. With these high volume, low pressure guns, it's really not that bad. Like the old days, it would be like a heavy, really ugly, you know, spot there, really bad dry spot. With these guns, it's not as bad. So this one I'm going to cheat a little. We're just going to go with masking it to the corner. Again, that part's going to get a little bit of, you know, roughness to it. I don't think it really matters. We're not going for that extra perfect. I'm not going to spend the time. That's where the main thing is. I don't have the time to do all that. So we're going to get this all covered up now, and I cover again all this stuff that's slowed down because your overspray is going to blow through. Again, a little bit's going to come on there and it's going to land on here. So even the taillight holes, I like to cover those up. You know, I like to have everything covered up because that blow through you get from that, it'll all land all over. And plus I just cover it like this. I'll just cover all that and all that doing this part. So on the doors, I usually mask right up to here. I'll just mask into the corner because even if it blows through a little bit, it's not going to really get on that edge. So it'll dust out this jam. So I'm going to cover these up real quick, just the flat part. I'm not going to worry about way in the corner here. So yeah, there'll be just a couple little dry spots here and there, but it won't be bad. It won't look horrible underneath the hood. No, we're not doing anything with that. Usually, sometimes I'll cover this. But the paint's gonna blow down. It's not gonna really bounce back because of the pressure, the lower pressure. It's not gonna want to bounce back on that. So it could get a little bit, but like I said, we're not going that fussy. Just trying to get it painted all one color. All right, so I'll talk to you guys a bit later when we get to paint. right, let's take a look here. This shrinks a little bit, or shrinks quite a bit, because it is single stage. It was a single stage sign paint base coat, so it's not gonna be fully shiny until it's polished. So, but this kind of gives you an idea. We don't have that much work to do to polish this one. There's not much as far as a couple of sags I'll show you. And I put it on real heavy, so get a couple sags in it, and then those things will come right out. Like, I'll show you what they are. So look right here, there's this one, little guy, sand right out. This one, it's right here, you can't even see it from where you guys are probably. Got a little bitty tiny thing there, and in the infamous groove, I almost had this all down, and then it came back again. I cleaned them up, I used some tape, pulled them back out, had them down, had them flowing out. I was like, I think it's gonna flow out. Went in the house for an hour, came back, and the Tamco keeps flowing. So there's these little two ones. These I can get right out. You just take a little bit of razor blade, you know, scrape them off when it's really dry. I'm gonna wait about a week, and then we'll polish this thing. And we're putting it together, and we'll see the rest of the car all together here. Let me get you guys back in the right place, watching where I'm walking instead of where you guys are looking. So yeah, it looks straight. There's a few little waves in it. Some of that will go away, because once we hit it with once we hit that with 2000, this little stuff here, there's a little bit right in here. Once you hit that with 2000 and polish it, it'll take the edge off of those. You won't even see them. The back here looks really good. I saw this one, a little lumpy guy right there. Nothing. Really, this car is super clean. This turned out really nice for a quickie. This was a quick paint job. This isn't like custom full restoration where you're paying 10, 15,000 or whatever to have it painted. All right, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe. See what your thoughts are. I'll talk to you in the next one.